Under Section 118-110, we disregard a capital gain or loss from a CGT event happening to an ownership interest in a dwelling if you are an individual and the dwelling was your main residence throughout your ownership period, and you did not inherit the ownership interest. So we need to be able to work out if a dwelling is used as a main residence by an individual. To determine this is a question of fact. We consider things like the length of time the taxpayer has lived there, place of residence of the taxpayer's family, location of personal belongings, mailing address, address on the electoral roll, a connection of services. We also need to remember that a mere intention to construct or occupy a dwelling is insufficient. The Smith family constructed a dwelling on a 1-acre block and occupied it as their main residence. They also had a separate garage and shed constructed on the block to store cars and home equipment. The family also purchased the neighbouring 1-acre paddock for the children to keep horses. Despite it being a separate title, the adjacent block of land, as well as the dwelling and the immediate block of land, the garage and the shed may be eligible for the main residence exemption. In accordance with Section 118-120, the main residence exemption extends to the block of land for the horses and the garage and shed, as they can be considered to be adjacent land and structures. This applies so long as they are primarily used for private purposes associated with the dwelling. We should also note that the maximum area of the adjacent land covered by the exemption is 2 hectares, less the area of land directly under the dwelling. The land used for the horses is for a private purpose and is less than 2 hectares, so can qualify for the extension of the main residence exemption. Now, the main residence exemption will only apply if the house, the adjacent land and the other structures are subject to the same CGT event. So if the Smith family decides to sell the adjacent block of land but do not also sell the main dwelling, the exemption will not apply and CGT will be applicable to the sale of the adjacent block. Let's consider this in another way. Kerry lives on a 1/2-acre block and has decided that the block is larger than she needs, so decides to subdivide and sell the vacant rear portion of her land. This is Kerry's main residence and is currently wholly exempt from CGT. However, upon subdividing and selling the vacant block at the back, Kerry is no longer eligible to use the main residence exemption for the vacant land, as it has not been disposed of as part of the main residence package.